And we're back. Kind of wrapping up this week. I still want to see if we can get to Bridge of Spies, but I don't know if we'll get to that. Anywho, so hi, we're going to talk about Crimson Peak. This is going to be where you and I kind of disagree a little bit on.
Yeah.
Because I will admit this movie's flawed, but I kind of dug the shit out of it.
Yeah.
I honestly, I know it's flawed. I know it's not perfect. I can consciously tell which parts are not perfect, but I still really enjoyed myself.
To me, it was all right.
Mm-hmm.
It was just, I don't know. It was mostly a style over substance movie, but for some cases where like the idea of gothic horror, even though as we both agree, it's not really a horror movie, it just has elements.
No, it's a supernatural mystery movie.
Yeah.
At the core of it. I mean, yeah, you can pretty much see the mystery twist come from a mile away. Yes, it is style over substance. Yes. That being said, the atmosphere is fantastic. The acting is pretty solid.
Yeah.
The design of the ghosts and of the scenery is gorgeous. I got a really good old school like haunted house vibe from this. I think that's a large part of why it worked for me. So it's one of those things. I will admit, not for everyone. If you think it's just okay, I completely understand why. But for what was there really worked for me.
Yeah.
I had a good time. Yeah. Sometimes that's all I need. Not every movie needs to be Citizen Kane.
Yeah.
It's like,
oh no, I know. It's just like, obviously when it comes to like these kind of things, I'm a bit pickier about them.
Yep, I do know that.
Yeah, it's like I have my biases against horror, like, or anything horror related, like right from the get-go.
Mm-hmm.
And even then, I was like, okay, it's basically just gothic stir of echoes for the most part with,
which of course I have not seen, it's worth noting,
yeah.
but it's like, I'm totally okay with that. I don't know, it's like, again, it comes down to, sometimes style over substance for me is okay.
Yeah.
Like, if what is there is still something I can kind of chew my bits on.
For me, it's like, it all depends on the situation, like with his previous film, Pacific Rim, that makes sense. Like, it's...
Well, even then, you thought that movie was just okay, too.
Okay, but kind of like the same way that you said, yeah, this one's just okay, but you enjoyed the hell out of it.
Yeah, like, maybe I'm just a sucker for Guillermo Del Toro.
That's what I had with Pacific Rim. It's like, yeah, it's like not special, but holy hell, was that a fun movie.
I had fun with this, too.
Yeah.
I guess it largely comes down to personal taste.
Yeah, because for me, it's just like, it was a bit too slow-paced. The characters, weren't, like, super interesting, save for Tom Hiddleston, because... Yeah, it's
at the same time, I felt like the way the characters were done, especially the kind of over-the-top villain woman, who's so obviously the villain that it's painful, was just kind of entertaining enough for me to be okay with it. I mean, like, we both kind of chuckled at some of the more over-the-top moments at the end, but I was like, I don't know, as the movie kept going, I got into it. Like, I was kind of getting invested into the story. I mean, it's not a great story. I'm not going to defend this movie as, like, some pinnacle of moral achievement, but it's like, I got sucked into it. I got invested in the characters and the story and the atmosphere and all that stuff. I got sucked into it. So I was like...
And I think that was the thing for me, though, is like, this is one of those movies where very meta, might add, is that it focuses on...
Not as meta as some other movies I've seen.
But like, it focuses... This is a movie that is, where it talks about, it's mostly about the story and the characters that get you invested, but it's like... Mm-hmm. It just... I don't know. It felt like it... In a case like that, you kind of need to back it up, and it didn't do that for me.
Fair enough. It did for me. And that comes back to, I don't know, like, again, like I keep repeating myself, it's like, and it just comes down to personal taste. Like, now I forget, the main character in this movie, was she Alice in Alice in Wonderland?
Yep.
Okay, I thought it was
Which
her.
is why I found it kind of funny, because she was basically playing Alice from that, too.
Yeah, but either one, like, this is far from a perfect movie. Like I said, but... I think for me, it's been a long time since I've seen kind of a gothic, atmospheric, haunted house kind of movie.
That's true.
And I liked kind of going back to those old school days, like The Haunting and all that kind of stuff. I mean, granted, The Haunting's better, but am I thinking The Haunting? What's the original one, not the crappy reboot?
House on Haunted Hill?
That's the one, yeah.
The one with Vincent Price, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you talk about The Haunting with Owen Wilson and Catherine Zeta-Jones. And
I am talking about The Haunting. I'm talking about the original Haunting. No, not that.
Yeah,
not that.
Right. That one was a that one was a remake too.
Yeah. I'm talking about the original one, the old school one, not the crappy one. Not the crappy.
Because there was I believe there was an original Haunting.
There was an original.
Yeah,
Haunting.
there was. An original House on Haunted Hill.
Yeah, but I'm talking specifically The Haunting here, though.
Okay.
Because that one was more of like a traditional ghost story that was legitimately very good. And this one, of course, not quite to the same scale, but at the same time, it's been a long time, especially in modern age, where you get like the found footage paranormal activity movies and stuff like that. We don't get many old school gothic ghost movies anymore, haunted house movies anymore.
Yeah.
So it's like, for me, that was kind of a refreshing return to form. It's like, same reason I really like Pacific Rim is like we don't get many monster movies anymore, especially ones like this.
Yeah.
So like seeing that kind of make a return to form, like, okay, that's kind of refreshing for me. So I think that's kind of another reason why I got more into it. Like the visuals, especially on the ghosts and the way they're designed, are fantastic because it's Guillermo Del Toro. You expect nothing less from him. But even like, I was a little disappointed by the CGI, but even then, I felt like what are you looking at?
Nothing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was surprisingly okay with the CG use because they used it relatively effectively and actually clearly put their heart and soul in making it look good for the most, at least for the ghosts. Other things, not so much.
Oh yeah,
but because the ghosts look fantastic.
Oh, they did, and it's like they were creepy and they were effective for the brief little parts that they were in. I mean, granted, like I said, this is not a horror movie, and so I was kind of surprised it still seemed like do like the jump scare tropes and stuff like that.
Especially considering those just didn't work.
No, not really. That being said, but like when it goes, like it comes to the ghosts actually popping up, though, those legitimately gave me the creeps. For me.
Yeah.
Again, I can hear the face like didn't do it for me.
As I said, I am a freaking snob when it comes to horror or horror elements. So it's like, as I said, the last 3 horror movies like I actually enjoyed were, and even then, like I'd say only one of them was great. The other 2 were just, they were good. Were Babadook, Conjuring, and It Follows.
But like I thought you said It Follows was just okay.
I said it was decent. It's just like it.
How are we defining decent and it's okay? Because that kind of means the same thing to me.
Okay just means average. Decent means
slightly above average.
Good, but could be better.
Okay, I'm just gonna. Okay.
For me, good's like a 7.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, if you've seen the trailer, you basically know the story. It's about a woman who thinks herself as a writer, and for the first act is kind of weird in contrast to the second and the very violent third act.
Oh yeah.
But what was her name? Edith?
Yeah.
Edith, whose father is Bobby from Supernatural, which kind of made me laugh.
Yeah. Being skeptic of Loki.
Yeah. Because why the hell wouldn't you? It kind of makes sense. The only supernatural hunter in the movie is sketchy of the supernatural murderers, basically.
Yeah.
Serial killers. Spoiler. But anyway, so she's a big old, like, oh, I don't need a man, that kind of person that I swear to God, I was like, is this like an old school Disney movie? Because for a little bit there, it felt kind of like Cinderella.
Yeah, I was getting that vibe too, even with the little whimsical music in the beginning.
Yeah, and so that was a bit off. Yeah, so there was a little bit of that, and then Tom Hiddleston's character comes into play. He was like some entrepreneur who's trying to sell his clay mining invention.
Well, it's not necessarily that. He's trying to get funding for it so he can basically sell off the material to make
like bricks and stuff like that.
Yeah, high-end clay.
But then, of course, Edith meets him and they fall madly in love, and then of course it turns out they get married. They go to what's called Crimson Peak, although not explicitly.
Yeah, not until later on.
Not until later on. It's just Crimson Peak is the nickname it's been given because of all the blood-looking clay that pops up from the ground.
Yeah.
Because apparently the house is sinking, and basically looks like it should have been condemned a long time ago.
Yeah, like, to me, I just couldn't help but got a laugh back. Like, it literally looked like there's blood on the walls half the time.
Yeah, I kind of like that though. Like, visually it worked.
Yeah. For me, I found it kind of funny. Just like, was it normally meant for like, kind of an effect? It's just like, yep, we deal with this every day.
Yeah. I mean, is that a bad thing? I can't tell what your opinion is on this.
As I said, for me, it was kind of funny. Like, not necessarily good, not necessarily bad. It was just kind of weird.
Okay, fair enough. But anyway, of course, when she gets there, weird shit starts happening, and she starts randomly seeing ghosts everywhere she goes at night. And of course, there's a dog that comes in right away, and I can lean over and he's like, oh, damn it, okay, when does a dog die? Turns out, third act.
Yeah.
It made it made 3/4 of the way through.
Yeah.
But anyway, so naturally this piques her interest for obvious reasons. She starts doing some investigating. Turns out bad shit's happened with his family before. Big shock. Turns out, spoiler alert, Game of Thrones twists.
Yeah. Married a lot of rich women and...
Yeah, basically, Tom Hiddleston's character would go from town to town, find a rich woman, woo her, and then his sister would slowly poison them to death. Yeah. And then they move on to the next town for more money to find another rich woman, etc., 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 until he finds himself to Edith. But apparently, Tom Hiddleston actually falls in love with this one in comparison to the other ones, and doesn't want to kill her, but that
didn't quite work out too well.
No, that's not. The sister does not like that because she's the only one that wants to fuck Tom Hiddleston ever. So yeah, apparently incest is in right now, which is kind of weird.
Yeah.
Game of Thrones, man. Of all the trends to catch on.
The thing is, it reminded me of another horror movie. I just can't remember what the heck it was. It's bugging the crap out of me.
I can't help you there. I don't know what other horror movies involve, massive amounts of incest. Well, not massive amounts, but implied incest until the explicitly shown incest at the very end.
Yeah.
So naturally, shit ensues. Pretty much everyone dies except for Edith.
And the Jaeger pilot of
Jaeger
Rim.
Yeah, it kind of starts off trying to do like a old school pioneer accent, but kind of drops it halfway through.
Especially because like half the time it's just like it sounded like he was doing a Tommy Wiseau impersonation. Sometimes
I don't know if it was that bad, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I just call him discount Ryan Gosling, to be honest.
Yeah. I know he's like Australian or something like that.
Something like that. Either way, he's another one that kind of knows something is up right away because, of course. And I'm not really spoiling anything because you can figure it out within 5 fucking seconds. But Tom Hiddleston's sister ends up killing, what's it called, Bobby. Edith's dad, Bobby.
Mr. Cushing.
Yeah, because he finds out too much about them and tries to bribe them to go away, which they accept, of course. But she kills him anyway because he knows too much.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then that all leads up to the very violent third act of the movie where, lots of blood, gore, lots of people die, things to burn. Yeah, kind of fun. Drags on a little too long, but still kind of fun. Yeah, there you go. It's a pretty simple movie because some of them are like, what was that, 10 minutes, I think? If that?
More or less.
Yeah. So, I don't know, I guess, like, if you're watching this video, you kind of know, if you watch the series long enough, you probably pretty much know our feelings about movies, more or less. So, you can probably gauge whether or not you like this movie from that.
Yeah.
Like, I'll be the first one to admit this movie is far from perfect. A lot like Guillermo Del Toro's work is far from perfect, but they're always visually stunning.
Yeah.
I mean, like, that's kind of how I felt about Hellboy 2. You didn't hear anything. It's kind of like Hellboy 2, was everyone else was kind of more like, oh my god, this movie's fantastic. That was one I was kind of meh about for me.
Like, I didn't think that one was perfect, but I really enjoyed that one. I still say his best work was Pan's Labyrinth.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But then again, I'd never seen Chronos, which I heard was pretty good.
Is this person waiting for me to leave? Because I'm not leaving.
Nope.
I don't know what he's doing. Anyway, so I guess this is kind of like your my Hellboy 2 for you, kind of, I guess.
I think I enjoyed Hellboy 2 more. Maybe.
My point is, my opinion of Hellboy 2 is more like your reflection of Crimson Peak.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Because like I always thought Hellboy 2 looked great, it sounded great, but I always felt like the fantasy setting didn't really work for Hellboy as a character. So I thought like this. I know I'm kind of giving my review with Hellboy 2 right now, but I always felt like okay, this is what Guillermo Del Toro clearly wanted to make a Hobbit movie, which I'm assuming he was working on at the time he made this. Around the time he made this movie.
Yeah, because he originally was set to direct the Hobbit movies.
Yeah, he was. So it's like, okay, this is basically a 2-hour preview for his idea of what the Hobbit would have been.
Yeah.
And that to me, I felt that kind of distracting. Visually, it looked fantastic, but like this doesn't feel like Hellboy to me. So again, that's just where I'm coming from in that.
Right.
And I'm assuming that's kind of what you're kind of feeling more for this one. Is like it visually looks really good, but story-wise, this does not work for you.
Yeah.
And again, fair enough. Yeah. Fair enough. I mean, there's not a whole lot more to say about this movie.
Yeah.
It's one of those movies like, I really enjoyed it for my personal reasons.
Yeah.
I've talked to a few people about this movie too. They're all kind of, it's like, it's kind of unanimous.
Yeah. It's like, regardless of what you think about the, story and whatnot, as we're both agreeing, the visuals are fantastic.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, it, lends great style, as I said, great atmosphere.
Great cinematography.
Just a great attention to detail in general.
Absolutely. And, like, all that stuff is great. Like, I think, and I could be wrong about this, but just based on what's looking at the visuals, it looks like they blended Guillermo Del Toro's classic use for practical effects mixed in with CGI, which I was happy to see.
Because, like, I was told it was mostly just CG, but,
No, like,
if it is a mix, that made a lot more sense, because that looked way too good.
I mean, like, some of the ghosts were definitely all CGI. Like, the mother at the beginning of the movie was definitely all CGI. But some of them, particularly like the red one that comes out of the ground halfway through the movie, is like, okay, that looked fucking real. Apart from the obvious, like, CG fading in the mists and all that stuff. Like, no, the actual monster looked fucking real. So I'm willing to bet that was Doug Jones in practical effects.
Yeah, possibly.
Because Doug Jones is in the credits of this movie, and I'm willing to bet, like, $20 that he played one of the ghosts in this movie that actually had practical effects on him.
Probably.
And there were a couple that absolutely did. Like, you can tell, like, okay, that looks real. That does not.
Actually, I thought Doug Jones was, like, the lawyer or something like that.
He could have been the lawyer. But he also, I mean, let's face it, whenever Guillermo Del Toro needs somebody to slather on practical effects on, he's going to call Doug Jones first.
Yeah.
I mean, Doug Jones doesn't get enough credit, unfortunately, but he's a really good actor.
Yeah.
But, anywho. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much else to say about this, do you?
Not really.
Like, this is gonna be a really short review.
And people rejoiced.
Hey,
after our 20 minutes worth of imagination talk the other day.
That video has over 100 views so far, right? Alright. So apparently people really like using their imagination. Hopefully not while watching the video. But if you do, keep that to yourself. I don't want to know.
Yeah.
Let's read in the slasher fiction. Anywho, so I guess we'll talk about trailers right now. Actually, what is that video? Okay, it's still 116. So we got By the Sea with Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie.
Which a trailer that told us absolutely nothing.
Absolutely nothing, except, ooh, look, it's Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie.
Yeah.
Which just reminds me, do you remember that old Red versus Blue skit, Real Life versus the Internet? The part where, like, talking about celebrities, and you see Sarge in the back going, who's a girl? I like girls. I love Angelina Jolie. Does anyone else love Angelina Jolie? She has enormous lips. You remember that?
Yeah.
That was good back in the day. I mean, that's all we have to say about the trailer, because the trailer just tells us nothing except they're married. They have marriage problems.
Very
bad.
Deep problems.
Yeah.
It may be what's going on right now with them.
I don't know. I don't care. I don't give two shits about celebrity gossip. I really don't. It's like TMZ and all that shit. It's like, oh, who gives a crap?
Yeah.
Not my life. But we got a trailer for Spotlight too. That movie looks pretty interesting.
Now, which one was that? That's Boston Globe one.
Yeah, Michael Keaton, Mark Ruffalo.
That had a really damn good cast.
Really damn good cast, and it actually looks like a pretty good movie.
Yeah, which is basically all about, like, the whole priest molestation scandal that was going on.
Yeah, and, like, even then, like, ever since Birdman, I've become a Michael Keaton fanboy a little bit.
Yeah.
More so than I was already. I mean, I always liked Michael Keaton, but I was never, like, a huge, oh my god, it's Michael Keaton. But maybe just one of those things, he just ripens with age. But, I think it's, like, my favorite line in the trailer. It's like, okay, we're gonna go with the priest molestation story. We're gonna talk with the lawyers who covered it all up. We're gonna tell one of these stories. Which one would you like? Yeah. He says to the lawyer. It's like, oh, like, okay, that's a really clever line. So something that looks really smartly written, looks pretty good. That comes out next month. I want to just check that one out if we can. And then the last one we got was I almost said The Room, but it's just called Room.
Yeah, I saw a clip for that the other day because Brie Larson was on The Daily Show talking about it.
I really like Brie Larson. She's a really good actress.
Yeah, I was like interesting. Just I didn't know what the hell this movie was. So I was like. One of those ones that just kind of made me go, oh, Jesus.
I mean, the trailer is kind of confusing into what the story kind of is.
Basically, mother and child were abducted, as far as I can tell, or basically it was just like they're in a very abusive relationship.
Yeah, and basically they're locked into a room for God knows how long. I don't know.
Say a few years?
Something like that. But, bleh, sorry, I got distracted. I don't know. Either way, I guess like for 5 years, because that's like when their kid was born, and the kid has never seen the outside world. And, I mean, one of like a really, what's the actress's name?
Brie Larson?
Brie Larson, yeah, like, I mean, she's really astounding me for some of the work she's done before. Look at a movie called, like, I think it's called Short Order 12. It's on Netflix.
Yeah, I heard that was a really good one.
It's a phenomenally good movie.
Unfortunately, things I remember her in are 21 Jump Street and Scott Pilgrim vs. the World.
Who was she in Scott Pilgrim?
She was Envy.
Which one was Envy?
Wait, was she Envy Adams? Envy Adams, she was Scott's evil ex. The leader of...
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I was like, it might have been her.
She was dating the vegan.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. That might have been her.
No, it was, because she sings that song that Clash of Demon Head sings in the movie.
Okay, I'm just gonna take your word on that because I don't want to look it up right now. But yeah, man, like look up Short Order 12. That is a phenomenally good movie. One of the few movies I've ever seen. It's actually brought me to tears. It's a really fucking good movie.
Jesus.
Yeah, it is a hard sit.
What? I'll ask you about that movie a bit later. Just all I've heard is like it's freaking amazing, and but that's all I know about it.
Basically, it's about.
Oh, she was in Trainwreck.
It's about people. It's like about people that work at a halfway house, I think it is.
Oh, okay.
So like people like kind of like orphanage kind of.
Right.
Or like people like not orphanage, but like for troubled kids.
Right.
But like, oh yeah, there's some really good shit in that movie. Absolutely worth checking out.
Right.
But The Room. I keep saying The Room. Weirdest reboot ever. This is nothing like source material. Tommy Wiseau's not even making a guest appearance in this movie. Oh, I'm gonna lock you in here, huh? Yeah. Tommy Wiseau's the villain of Room.
This is bullshit. I did not lock her away.
I did not hit her. I did not.
Well, hi, child.
Oh my. Alright. Yeah, this is definitely like a shorter review than average. I mean, so like I said, I think we kind of both said our piece. You can kind of take it for what you will, like whether or not you like this movie or not. You know, different boats for different folks and all that stuff. So, in closing, go watch Short Order 12.
In closing, I wish I picked Bridge of Spies.
Oh, come on, it wasn't that bad.
Yeah, but between average to possibly much better, I would have preferred much better.
I don't know, Steven Spielberg is kind of a hit and miss for me.
Yeah.
Like,
well,
I mean,
at least, I'm just curious because, like, I've heard surprisingly really good things about Bridge of Spies. Also, after seeing the Kid Theater on Jimmy Fallon, I kind of want to see this now.
I didn't see that interview.
Just look it up later.
Alright.
Alright, I think that's all we got to talk about.
Yeah, I think it's one of those days we're both kind of tired. It's been a long week. So, and I still got to do like 1,000 other things the next few days. So, we're going to try to catch Bridge of Spies this weekend if we can. If not, then, I don't know, maybe we'll pick up next week. Next week is going to be fucking crazy. For bad movies especially. Although we do have Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs is getting really good reviews.
Yeah, hopefully I will see that in time and be able to join you.
Yeah, and then we got, what else comes out next week? We got Rock the Kasbah, which is
Rock the Kasbah,
which is getting god-awful reviews, which is really unfortunate.
Gem and the Holograms.
Oh yeah, we gotta go see that. Oh, and both Wes and Muha want to go check out The Last Witch Hunter, so we're gonna see if we can make that finally happen.
I'm sure you'll enjoy yourselves.
We probably will. I know you would hate it. Yeah. Because you don't know how to have fun. But
I have fun. I enjoy Pacific Rim.
You don't know how to enjoy like a good bad B movie though. You just gotta really get into it.
White House Down.
Fair point.
And Street Fighter, might I add. The Raul Julia one, not that crappy Chun-Li one.
Aren't they both crappy?
Yeah, but the Raul Julia one's enjoyably crappy.
Fair enough.
Whereas the Chun-Li one is just... Oh, God. I couldn't even finish that one.
That bad?
Yeah.
I don't know. I could probably sit through it.
No. Oh,
dude, I've sat through movie 4E3 the first year I started doing this show. I can probably handle that movie.
That's true. Although in all fairness, you also almost walked out of the Tusk.
But I didn't.
Yeah, because I made you sit your ass down. You made me sit my ass through Scary Movie 5.
Alright, motherfucker, you want to play this game? That's some of the movies I've sat through, and you didn't have to
I know, you've seen way worse than I have.
Grown Ups 2, Smurfs 2, in the same year.
That was a terrible time. Glad I missed it.
Those were dark times.
Well, I think we've said our piece then.
Alright, thank you guys for watching. Oh, and Tammy. You didn't have to watch Go Fucking Tammy. Or Unbroken, or Exodus, or Transporter Refueled.
Yeah, because thankfully I mostly know better. Although in all fairness, this is your show, so you kind of have to, no matter what you know.
I mean, Transporters Refueled, the movie that Muha saw, that he almost killed me after we walked out.
I'm sorry, but it's like, if you saw the trailer, you knew what you were getting into. It's like, even I could tell, like, oh, this is gonna be god-awful.
To be fair, we were originally gonna go see Straight Outta Compton, but we had a time conflict at the last minute, so we had to change the schedule.
Fair enough.
But anyway, so we'll be back next week with whatever. I think we've said our piece. So thank you guys for watching. See you all next time.
See ya.